currently gathering up a look here who's going into free agency for Williamsburg this year. And Easy's 2011, and I know he's going to become a free agent. No, he still got another year left on his contract. Okay. But Marcella is going into free agency. Silas Rand's going into free agency. I need to look him up. Lorraine Schaefer from 2 years ago was another pick of theirs. So is Connor Kirkle and Eleanor Rigby. Eleanor, I know, has been around a while. Connor and Marcella are both rookies. Silas, I don't know. He's been around a while. I can look him up real quick.
I think the main concern for Williamsburg next year is they might have to. They're almost looking like they're in going to be same situation as Plymouth this year, because they might have to let Rigby go regardless because of how much of their cap is already being invested for next year.
Rigby's been around since I'm trying to remember one guy that was one of CCAT's characters, but he retired to play bass player and Aggies. I think I forgot his name.
2008, so not almost at the 10-year mark where they start to decline, but
yeah.
Oops, nope, don't want to do that. All right.
I would probably say let Eleanor probably go, maybe.
Especially since her stats are not nearly all that impressive. What should they... Yeah, we can go in more into that once we actually get to the other part where we start talking about more playoff itself. But for this one, it's like, okay, team is definitely doing really well. I think it's actually done a lot better than everyone was expecting for the team to do.
I kind of figured they would make it this far. It would take them having the right players in the right positions.
Expectation they were going to make playoffs, but I think most of the people had Pittsburgh as being like one of the. It was going to be like Pittsburgh and Albany were going to be like the two front runners of the conference.
I think that was because Pittsburgh has the 40-point pronghorn, I think.
And the Spotty Cats.
Well, that too, yeah, but we'll get to them in a little bit. Williamsburg, though, Williamsburg Minutemen are both looking great and should be someone to really look out for in the playoffs.
Okay, next team, a team that's really gone on a tear.
The Howlers.
Have gone 17-4 since the last assessment.
I mean, like, look, I don't want to be looking biased because I'm coaching the team, but like I said, the stats and the results don't lie at the moment. I mean, everything seems to be clicking the way it should be after the season when it started. They had some tough patches. I think at a certain point they were last in the divisions. Well, the Mountain Division had been like really competitive, but now everything. I mean, since the Concali trainer trade, everything seemed to be going up. I mean,
I think a good reason why Montana started doing really well is actually because of the engine reboot. That Rourke has been doing great at trying to get things back up to snuff, and we are doing really well at catching up. But the engine he has is not going to be the exact same as the one Stevie has, since Stevie, we haven't been able to get a hold of him. But I've noticed since the new engine really likes Ren a lot more. So he's getting about like 5-10 more points on average, more than he was on Stevie's version of the engine. Like, I think for the most part before on Stevie's engine, it was mainly Cresta, Sterling, and Brax were the main ones getting all the players of the game, and now we're getting a lot of games with Ren as the player of the game.
I definitely agree with that, especially since Ren's been kind of the front guy for the team for a long time, and he hasn't gotten a player of the game in God knows how long, or even if he's ever had one.
But anywho, even with that, you can really deny talent wise. I mean, the front five. You got Rand, you got Cresta, Vincent Morandi. After maybe if he returned when he signed his big contract, has really took off as the small forward, taking Concal's places and produced. And of course, Trenner, that when we got the trade from Baltimore, really seemed to have solved our power forward issues that we have when they started at the start of the season. And then, of course, you got the polecat at center that's been doing his business, and you got also a solid bench, and with the trade deadline coming, we took the defensive player of the year from the D League, Salvatore the Prawn, to really cover the depth over to center. So right now, I don't have really much else to say. That the Howlers are for real. I mean, time to howl.
Yeah, they went from being the entire Eastern Conference, like for this outdated one, like the entire Eastern Conference was at one point within like the 8th seed to on the one that shows on the outdated one, it's like, okay, the 1st seed and the 6th seed were only a game apart, and now in the actual one, the Howlers have a 4-game lead over the 2nd seed.
Dang.
So is this a good assessment to say that come playoff time, the road to the final will go to Montana?
Probably at this point.
More than likely, yeah. And also, go ahead, puppy.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask if this is a good time to talk about who's going into free agency for Montana, because they got 6 players going to free agency. Yeah. They got Sterling Benson.
I don't think we can really say much about Salazar, considering they just picked him up. So
yeah, but they got Benzing, they got Regulus, Westcott, Christian Ashbury, and of course Salazar. He just arrived, so we're not going to talk about him too much. And Bailey Brisbane.
I think they should definitely try and get Sterling back.
Totes.
You're going to have two playoff game or 2 draft teams, so that is going to be a thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they can only pick up at most 4. Lowenthal, I think, has been doing really well.
Yep.
Ashbury and Lowenthal's going to be hot tickets for free agency because they are doing so well as on the bench. They're going to be quite a catch to try to have to bolster any other team bench and maybe eventually get a starter spot. So
I would say, yeah, it's like for the free agency, do Banksing, Lowenthal, and Ashbury, and then just let the other 3 go and pick up 1 from free agency, and then your other 2 will be your draft candidates.
Or if you think you can afford to, you can let one of the 2 go if you find another free agent that could be potentially hot from another team that may not go to that team and try and pick them up too. But keep like Ashbury and Regulus Lowenthal on standby just in case. Explore the shopping market. There's always room. There's always other brands out there that look like they could be good too for the team.
Because Ashbury is well on its way to be groomed to be a good backup for Ren, and eventually be a good number 2 point guard. And Lowenthal also. So if they don't act quick, Ashbury and Lowenthal should be expecting a lot of offers when the free agency starts.
Yeah, we'll go more after the season. I'll do another free agency roundtable thingy so we can go more on.
But so all in all, everything's well in Montana country. They're the team to beat right now in the FBA.
Yep. And we can let the Howlers howl at the moon while we move on to the next team, I guess, if everyone's satisfied.
Magic number 1. Montana's not in yet. It's magic number 1, which means they're pretty much in. But all right, Tennessee. Since the last assessment, they've gone 15-6. So another team that's really gone on a tear.
Yeah, they really turn things around. I mean,
they're actually managed to just they've actually upset Huntsville, where Huntsville was like one of the big 3 for a very long time, and now they're the number 3 seed. So they're currently the division leader. Granted, as we can see down here, Huntsville is right on their tail, but they've actually managed to take the division lead.
They are neck and neck with Huntsville for the division. That's for sure.
And if Tennessee does make the playoffs, which pretty sure they might, this will be the first time they made the playoffs in a few years since they tanked a couple years ago. Well, they bounced back in a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, they won the title 2 years ago. After that, they tanked. They came back last year and won their first round against Williamsburg before being eliminated by Queens. And here they are today.
Yep. This is a team that has bounced back greatly, and they are doing great with who they got. They got frontline. They got Hank Sawyer, Merrill Providence, Trice Peeler Malarick, Miriam V. Wallstein, and Hal Dufresne, the Gator.
Indeed. And a certain bunny.
A certain bunny that loves his Australian barbecue. Love you, Noah. But they also got, not to be biased completely towards my bunny, but they also got Cho Song Hwa, Russell Savoy, Stephanie Beck, Eli Shook, Gilbert Exon, who, well, we all know he's all talking. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. Never mind. I don't know where I was going with that tangent. They also got Samuel Pangolian Jr., the squirrel with the impossibly long name that only Hare can pronounce for some reason, and Jasper Whittam.
Yeah, it's almost a tongue twister.
Major tongue twister.
But if you know a lot of Indian people, it's probably a very easy name to say.
Yeah. And also this is another team like we talked about with Queens that have made it as far as they did with not a completely full roster. There's one empty spot still on the roster.
There's a lot of teams on the Eastern Conference that have empty spot.
Again,
it just goes to show that with this season alone, it goes to show you don't really need a completely full roster to make it far in the league. I mean, it'd be useful, but
you need a minimum 12, and you want at least 14. 13 or 14 to deal with injuries. The 15th is,
Yeah.
if anything, the 15th is definitely very optional.